clunking noise coming from the slip yoke. Gonna go ahead and take a look at it. It's my son's truck. He got it not that long ago, and it's been clunking since the day it drove out of the dealership, brand new. I think it has, right now it has less than 1,000 miles on it, and we decided we need to take a look at this. Researched a lot of stuff on it. You know, everyone talks about greasing the splines in here for the slip yoke. I'm not sure if we're going that route yet. That's gonna be next if I can't see if something else might be going on in here. I just apparently the dealership says these don't need to be greased at all. Transfer case fluid is supposed to lubricate the splines and stop that from happening. So some people grease them and say that it lasts 5,000 miles. Some people it lasts less. I don't want to have to grease this every 3,000 to 5,000 miles, and that shouldn't be happening. So there's another problem. I feel like putting grease on it's just a band-aid. I'm going to go ahead and pull this out. I'm going to look at the splines. I'm going to look at the slip yoke, and I'm going to see what's going on before I do anything. I'm going to see if it has fluid on it, or if it's dry, or what's going on. Put the back tires on a ramp. And I'm going to take these bolts out, and I'm going to pull this drive shaft out, and we're going to take a look. There we go. See if that one's Loctited. Nope, just on there tight. So, torque spec, hella tight. If you could easily take them back off, then they're not on there tight enough. Alright, one more thing I almost forgot to do is mark your shaft here, so you can line that back up and put it on exactly how you took it off. Alright. There we go. One. Got my thing marked, so I know where to put it back. Check. Okay. Almost not want to pop out as easy, is it? There we go. Okay. Got some towels right here, just if I gotta lay it on that bar, just trying not to mar it up or damage it in any way. Got a soft pad down here, got another soft pad right here, just in case I gotta pull it out and lay it down on here, so nothing will happen to it. Not my truck, so I want to take care of it. All right. I don't know if this is just gonna fall or it's gonna still be held up. Alright. Give me a second to get that last bolt out. Alright guys, so it took some persuasion to get this to want to come free off of this rear differential adapter, whatever the heck this is. But I wasn't sure exactly what was going on. It looked like it was either bound up or... So I had a jack under here, put a little pressure on here, and tapped on it with some wood a little bit, and it popped off and broke free. Alright, so let's get her out. Should be good. Lay it on there. Got my last bolt. Slide her out. Set it on my towel. Keep on coming. There we go. Easy peasy. Alright. So here's what it looks like. Inside the transfer case spline area. Not sure how great of a picture that is. Let me try to zoom. Just to get you a little close up. I do see a little bit of the transfer case ATF fluid. Just a thin layer of it. And I see some bearings back in there. Not sure how if y'all can see those bearings way back in there, but they're there. I think my flashlight's getting too much light, giving too much light, so my camera's starting to look funny. Another look not zoomed in. We can't see those bearings way down in there, so that would be the only iffy part. Putting in the grease. So it's not just splines, it is bearings back in there that the grease would be hitting. And you would think the bearings could have grease, but I'm not sure how that's made or what these bearings are made to have on them. Apparently they're made for just ATF fluid. I'm not sure if grease might wear them out faster or cause a problem. Alright, just got back from the store. Got a few things to see what we could do here about this issue we've been having. There's a very fine coating of the transfer case ATF on this outside of the splines, the shaft, or whatever you want to call it. But what I did notice was right here, there's a little line of rust right there. I was wondering if it was the outside of the shaft sticking with the whatever seal is in there, possibly sticking on it. So I'm going to clean this up really well. Got some lubricants to try on it and see if that could possibly help. Only other thing I kind of noticed was I'm not going to be able to see it, but in here there is some little specks of some stuff. probably shavings of metal from metal to metal contact with the splines, probably just shaving a little bit of each other off, whether it's break-in or normal shavings. But I did notice a little bit of that. You can see the transmission fluid down at the bottom, so it definitely had some transmission fluid all over everything. I'm going to clean the inside of this out really good. I'm going to spray it out with some kind of cleaner, and then I'm going to re-lube it with well, first I'm either going to use, I got the Tri-Flow Superior Lubricant, and it's has PTFE in it, which I believe is Teflon, and I'm probably going to coat it with this stuff, probably spray it in there with the spray, and then I'm going to coat it with transmission fluid really good, and then I'll clean up the outside. I'm going to oil it with the Tri-Flow. I'm going to oil the splines coming out of the transfer case, make sure those are cleaned up. I'm going to oil those, just the outside ones that are sticking out, with the Tri-Flow, and then I'm going to oil everything up really good with the automatic transmission fluid, get it all back together, and see if that fixed the problem or did anything at all, or if we're going to have to go to another step, possibly. But I want to try this first and see if it helps out anything, see what we're looking at, and just try the bare minimum. I'm not sure about putting the grease in there. If so, I'll get the appropriate grease and, you know, probably just put a little bit on the splines, nothing crazy. I've seen a lot of people caking a lot of grease in these things. I'm not going to do that even if I use grease, and wouldn't be too worried if it was just splines in there, but with that bearing that's down in there, I'm just not sure if that would be a good idea. Worst case scenario, if we had to, I mean, I know people do it and I haven't heard anything about it, but I have read that if you do grease them up, apparently Nissan will try to void your warranty, blah 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 blah. Not sure if that's true, but you know, I'm just thinking if they made the system to run like this, it should run like this. It shouldn't need to be greased. If it's supposed to be lubed with ATF fluid from the transfer case, then that's how it should be, and it should work right. So I'm going to try to do these little things, see if I can't get it to work, and we're going to go from there. Alright, so that little bit of rust was on here, did not come off super easy. Definitely wasn't coming off with my mass airflow sensor cleaner. Use a little Ballistol on it, and then I had to turn to my rust-free rust and stain remover. This is the about third application I put on it, giving it about a minute and wiping it down really good. So definitely means somehow this is getting exposed to a little bit of moisture up in here. In the back of my mind, I'm thinking, is this causing the problem? Is this tarnish on here causing it to stick up at the very end of the shaft, and then the seal in there, the outside of this, not even have anything to do with the inside of the splines, the outside of it? Okay, looks pretty dry and pretty clean in there. anything. Just shooting a couple drops down each little slit with the tri-flow, getting it all in there, and then I'll kind of let any excess kind of probably come out of it. Maybe not. Maybe I'll leave it in there. I'm not sure. But I'm just coating the little things, turning it, running it down the thing. I'll probably give it a quick shot of this in there, and then I'll lube the outside, clean the splines up on the truck, do the same thing, and get it back installed with after I lube it up with this transfer case fluid. Okay. Alright guys, I'm not going to go too crazy with it. That's about it for the tri-flow in there. And like I say, we're going to lube up the actual shaft with the ATF fluid as well before I put it all back together. I'll get my son in here to help. We're going to get it back on here and get it back in and see if that did anything. Be holding it, don't let it come down fast or anything. Help it out. Alright. Let's see if it'll go in about there. Is it going in? Okay, that's not it. So we're gonna have to go pull it back out. We're gonna have to turn it, just slide it out slowly. Okay, see if it'll go in about there. All right, that's it right there. Okay. Get these bolts back through it real quick. Here's like that's the spot. Okay. You're good down there. You shouldn't have to hold it or anything. It's good. Alright, well I just got back from the test drive. My son's going to hang out with his girlfriend. He's leaving. Got done with the truck. Topped off the transfer case. It was not really low, but quite a bit low on fluid. Took a lot of fluid. I'd have to measure it, but maybe probably close to 1/4 of a quart. I didn't feel the bump of the slip yoke at all. It was 100% perfect, never felt it the whole time. And before, I would feel it immediately when I made my first stop. This time I drove it around for about a mile or two and even braked hard a couple times, a little semi-hard at stop signs, and took off. Never felt it. Felt nice and smooth. So for now, this seems to have worked, and we'll see if it comes back. We'll have to deal with it again and maybe move on to something else. Alright, so I just climbed down here to see if you could get a straw in between here to spray that area out every now and again, but you can't get it past there. You might be able to get in here and just spray right there on the side, and I'm sure a lot of this would go in there. I'm not 100% on that. Pretty sure it would though, some of it at least. Spray that area out real good in there. Some of it will go in, some of it won't. Clean it up real good. Keep that area in there lubed so it doesn't get any corrosion or anything on that shaft that's going to be sliding. And I'm kind of leaning towards that's the problem. Not the inside of the splines, the outside of that shaft where the splines are on the inside that go in through that seal. I think that's what's causing the issue. Alright, so my final thought on the slip yoke is, I think it's a good possibility that it is that back section drying out and getting corroded, even building up a little bit of rust. Somehow moisture is getting in there. That's not been treated correctly or good. Doesn't have any lubricant on it, and it's causing it to corrode. That's my theory on that right now. I'm not 100% sure. I test drove my son's today. It's the next day. He went out last night and he drove 10-15 miles this morning somewhere else. I took it on a maybe 8-mile test drive when he got back. So it's put maybe 35 to 40 miles on the truck since I did that. It still is perfectly smooth. It's not bumping anymore. It's not doing anything. So I want to say that if I didn't do anything with the splines, if I didn't clean them, if I didn't put the Teflon film on the splines and then re-put transmission fluid on that, if I just did the outside, I'm pretty convinced that that would have fixed it. I don't really think that putting the Teflon in on the splines did anything more than the ATF fluid was already doing. So I think it's a pretty good possibility it might not be the splines. I think it's that seal kind of grabbing on the outside of the shaft. So that's my theory right now. We'll see what happens. It could come back in 100 miles. It could come back tomorrow. I'll put an update out on, maybe might just be in the description, or I'll make a comment. I'll leave it at the top of the comment section, and I don't know if I'll do a full video on it unless I have to do something else to it. Then I might make another video. So the things you might think about spraying in it, here's what I used. Tri-Flow. I would also spray Lubidol in there. I wouldn't mind putting this in there. I would do it. This contains moly and is silicone free if you don't like silicone. I would probably not have a problem spraying silicone in there either. I think the silicone would be fine there. Here's the other little bottle of Tri-Flow. Ballistol would probably be one of the last things that I would use on it, just because it's probably not going to keep it as lube as some of these other things. I'm not sure on that. It might. The other thing is, I'm not sure where it is. It's somewhere up here. My Blaster silicone spray. Now that would be the best thing to spray if you want to keep it completely free of dirt and debris. When I tested that on my truck, now that I say that, I want to test this on a part of my truck under the frame and let it dry and see how much dirt it collects on it, because I'm not sure. I never tested this product. All these I have tested, and they do gather a little bit of dirt, especially the day that you spray it, the next day, and so on. They might kind of dull out over time, especially if they get wet and stuff, but that's neither here nor there. The blaster silicone spray, after it dries, it immediately doesn't attract dirt. I took a handful of sand and dirt at it, threw it at it, and I don't think any of it stuck to the part that I sprayed with the silicone spray. That being said, I'm pretty careful with silicone spray, reading all the stuff on the internet, and you know, apparently if you put it on parts, you can't paint them down the line, or it's very difficult. Your paint always seems to mess up, and you almost can't get rid of the stuff after you spray it on there. That part in there, I would spray that with silicone spray. Like I said, I'm not sure if it's gonna be as good a product to keep it lubricated as these, but I do know that it won't collect any dirt and stuff on it, or it will do it a lot less than these will. So I think that's about it for the slip yoke. Hopefully this lasts a while, and I got it on video when I crawled under there, and I tried to see if you could squirt this behind the thing, because I was thinking if you just get in there every couple months and give it a good squirt in there, kind of like a maintenance thing on your truck to keep it lubed up in there, where that shaft goes through that seal in and out, then that might be the fix for it. So we'll see. All right, guys, later.